the alphabet. Honestly, my favorite collection of letters. But you know what's even better than letters? Platinum trophies. Over the last couple of years, I've become a bit of a trophy hunter, and I also like a good, stupid challenge, but not trophies that are based off of difficulty challenges. Fuck those. Today, I'm starting of my first little challenge that I want to do on this channel, and that is going to be platinuming a game from every letter of the alphabet, from A finishing off with Z. Today we're going to start off by doing A to E, as well as laying down the ground rules for what I have to do in this challenge. Now, first and foremost, that's most important to me, is that these are going to be real games. No $1 20-minute platinum ones that come off of the PlayStation Store that are just designed to make money off of easy platinums. Not doing any of those. I'm trying to make sure that at the very least I have a physical copy if I can. I don't think any of them don't. At least there's one physical copy of the game somewhere on some platform. Now, second most important rule is that I'm going to plat a game from every PlayStation console that has trophies. So we got one PS3 at least, one PS Vita, one PS4, one PS5, and one PSVR title. So, starting off strong today is Assassin's Creed 2. This was one of the very first games I ever beat by myself. I grew up with an older brother. You just don't get to play games by yourself. I was just the disconnected controller. That's how it was. And, you know, I'm player 2, but it's not plugged in. Now, at the time, I played it on PC. If any of you have ever played this game on PC, you will know the controls don't make any sense because they don't show them to you in keyboard controls. They show them to you as like Xbox button colors, which doesn't make any sense when you're using a controller or when you're using a mouse and keyboard. Now, I really still love this game. It came out before Ubisoft's open world formula was done to death, but it's still got some fluff. Like the Desmond parts are just a total waste of time in my opinion. I don't care about him, and I don't think anybody really did at the time either. Now, this is Ezio's debut game. It still holds up to this day, I'd say, overall. I am playing the PS4 remaster. It's not the best remaster I've ever seen, but it runs a lot better FPS-wise, which is why I decided to do this one. The core gameplay is still pretty damn good, especially compared to when I played it on a mouse and keyboard. It feels so much better on a controller. Although, again, if anybody's ever played these early Assassin's Creed games, there's no way you get through the game without accidentally jumping off a wall backwards and killing yourself with fall damage. I swear it's happened to all of us. It's okay. It happened to me in this playthrough again as well. Now, combat-wise, it's, you know, at the start, it's like it's countering stuff and trying to just basically spam the attack button and mash the counter button. Once you get far enough in the game that you unlock the smoke bombs, it's a complete joke. Every combat encounter is just throw the smoke bomb at the ground and kill everything in sight, and then move on. So, my recommendation, get that smoke bomb and make it easy for yourself. Platinum trophy-wise, it's pretty much a beat the whole game and get some collectibles and a few little challenges. In terms of collectibles, there is one that absolutely sucks with no guide, and that is to get 100 feathers. It's not quite as bad as the flags in Assassin's Creed 1, but it is annoying. If you don't have a guide, this is going to take you forever. Even with a guide, it's not super easy. But it's, you know, it's a collectible grind. It is what it is. The other collectible grind is doing the Subject 16 like wall glyph things. That one sucked even more because you have to do puzzles each time you pick it up to count it. Honestly, the puzzles were kind of lame, and I was at the end, I just did the guides. I recommend that too, unless you're really into doing puzzles. I got to a point where I was near the end, it was my last trophy. I just Googled the answers, because fuck that. Story-wise, this game's pretty solid. It does jump around a bit. It does give you a bit of that, like, quick switching between time periods, you know, jumping by 10, 20 years, that kind of thing. And there are some waste of time areas, like Romagna Forli, or however the hell you say it, and Tuscany. They're both sort of mid compared to Florence and Venice, but you can get through them pretty quickly. Overall, for enjoyment-wise, I would give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's still a good game to this day, but, you know, I've played a lot better. But if you have some nostalgia, it's definitely worth going back to. And in terms of difficulty, I'd give it a 2 and a 2.5 if you don't have a guide. So if you don't do the collectible guide, it's like a 2.5. If you do the collectible guide, it's a 2. It's super easy. Overall, solid trophy list and an enjoyable one to play. On to the next one. Hey, B-Sauce, Bee Simulator here, and today we're playing the game of the century. Okay, all jokes aside, this game is actually way more fun than I thought it would be. It is just one of those stupid little Unreal Engine 4, like, simulator games, but damn it, it's fun. It's got a charming little story about bees. Life as bees without any lawsuits or jazz, but, you know, it's still good. The voice acting is a welcome surprise, and it gives the whole game this feeling like you're having a storybook read to you by like a first grade teacher, and I was vibing with it real hard. So what about trophies? Now, there were some glitch trophies in this game, including the fight challenges, the racing challenges, and I think there was one other one that I had a glitch with. Basically, I searched the entire map and did every single one of the challenges, finished them, and the trophy didn't pop. Now, I googled the issue, had some people suggesting different things, ended up being all I had to do was start a New Game Plus and do like 2 of the challenges and like 1 of the races, and it immediately popped. So the trophy's not actually tracking completing them in game, it's just tracking the amount you do. So it's a little bit broken, but it's easy to get around. Just a quick little New Game Plus. Well, not really New Game Plus, just a quick little new game. Other trophies wise, there was basically just story trophies and 2, but one that was really annoying, grindy trophies. So in the game, you can collect pollen. You have a cap of how much you can collect at a time, and the cap is around 50, if I remember correctly. And one of the trophies is to get 3,000. There's also one for 1,000, but you get that one kind of by playing. The 3,000 one was basically just me flying around, collecting a ton of pollen, bringing it back to the hive so that I could have an empty thing and collect more, collect a bunch of pollen, bring it back to the hive, collect a bunch of pollen. It was a grind. It probably took me at least an hour or so, an hour and a half of just doing that. But it was my last trophy, and it was a charming enough game. Overall, I don't have that much to say about this game. It was a good, fun time, but it was nothing to write home about. I did buy a physical copy, so it still counts within my rules. But it's nothing special. I honestly wouldn't really recommend playing it unless you just want something fun and kind of stupid. Plat enjoyment rating, I'd give it a 5, just because by that last grindy bit, I was kind of sick of it. And difficulty is a 2, because it was just a run around and collect stuff and just do that new game thing. If for some reason you try to do this trophy list and you have trouble with the challenges, and they are glitched for you without that new game option to fix it, then it's probably going to turn into a real nightmare. But if that still works in the future, it's super easy. Let's move on to the next game, C. Cat Lateral Damage Remastered. What a feckin' title. This was not the game I originally planned on doing for C. I was going to do CSGO initially, but right before I started it, this game arrived in the mail. I had purchased it on Limited Run Games, I believe. It was a quick little physical copy, something like $20, $30. And I did that long before I even had the idea for this challenge. It showed up as soon as I was about to do C, and I thought, I already bought the game. Let's do it. This is just one of those silly little, like, Kickstarter games that takes off because it's a fun little concept. You run around as a cat, you knock stuff over, you get high on catnip. It's a good time. The trophies are nothing special. It's really just do certain areas, unlock the areas, knock down do all the challenges of knocking down stuff, and collect some photo collectibles, which are pictures of people's real cats from, I believe, the Kickstarter, which was very fun. That was very adorable. I was into that. But it's a bit of a gimmicky game, and it does get tiring after a while. Now, for the photo collectibles, please don't be like me and not realize that the treats that you earn in the game can be used to purchase them after you've finished all the levels. I didn't realize that, so I ended up knocking down some 400 odd photos so I could collect all of them, only to realize on the last 2 I needed that I could have just bought them with the little treats. Don't do that. That wasted a ton of time for me, but I finished it. Only other trophy that was annoying was knocking down 20,000 objects. That one took a while. My strat for it at the end was to just load up the grocery store area, and because it's full of small objects, and just knock them down over and over and over, reloading the level until it eventually popped. It took a good 2 days of grinding, like not obviously 2 days straight, but you know, a couple hours one day and then another hour or 2 the next day. But I did eventually finish it, and it took a while, but it's done now. Honestly, not much more to say about this game. It's nothing special. It's adorable. It's a fun little concept. It just manages to stay within a range where I don't get completely tired of it by the end, but I almost was. And the grind for the 20k made it barely worth doing, to be honest. But it's pretty adorable if you like cats. Overall, I would give it a 3 for difficulty purely because of the grind, and a 6 for enjoyment because the cat photos are really adorable and I love cats. On to the next game. Now for D, I decided to make up for the fact that the last 2 games were pretty small by doing Deathloop. This was a PS5 launch title that I'd been looking at pretty much the whole time, but I didn't pick up till it finally went on sale, and it made sense to do it for D on my Alphabet Platinum list. Deathloop is a really solid game with a super charming story and really, really tight gameplay. Like, I just love how good it feels when you've learned all the controls and you're at the end using all the slabs and just running around killing people. It is super fun for that. When you get to the end, it makes you feel like a badass. It's a fairly simple premise. If you haven't heard of the game before, I don't know how you would have missed it if you're into PlayStation, but basically, you gotta kill all the visionaries, which are like the main enemies, throughout one single loop, or one day, all at once, and then you break the loop. First time going through, I sort of wasn't super paying attention to what I was doing and wasn't focusing down the fact that you're supposed to like chase after each individual visionary's like timeline thing as well as the guns. Eventually, once I figured that out, it made it a lot easier, and I started actually paying attention to what I had to do in individual loops instead of just running around and doing whatever the hell I wanted. Wasted a bit of time doing that, but it was still enjoyable. And when it comes to trophies, this game's pretty good for not having any really fluff. It has do the game, do certain things a certain way in the loop, so like killing everybody silently at the party at the end, which I think is the Ghost of the Feast or Ghost at the Feast trophy that you can get near the end. Those kind of things were fun. One thing I would recommend to make it a lot easier when you start grinding the ladder trophies with just doing challenges is I turned on infinite reprisals. I know some people may think, oh, it's cheating or whatever. It's built into the game. I got sick of ending my loops early when I was trying to do dumb shit. I just turned that on. It made it a lot easier. I highly recommend at least starting off doing the limited reprisals, but if you do get sick of getting kicked out of the loop and having to restart, infinite reprisals helps a lot with that. Almost all the trophies that are specific challenges can be done fairly easily. One that that was a little bit annoying was killing Harriet with gas. Nothing because she's hard to kill, it's because every time I would just end up killing her with a bullet instead. It was very difficult because you got to use her gun after killing her once, and then it gives a little gas cloud off. So what I did was I had to lower her health and then shoot the gas cloud around her and hope that she didn't jump out of it. Eventually I got it, but again, she just really wants to get shot by the bullet, not by the gas. Another trophy that was a challenge was getting Thea and Charlie with one single bullet. Don't be like my dumbass and think that you have to get a collateral by going through one and killing the other. That's not the point. Use the slab that connects them together and then kill one of them and it kills the other. That was what I was supposed to do. I didn't realize that until way later, but I did eventually get it. Definitely recommend realizing that earlier than I did. Overall, Deathloop is really fun. There's not a huge whole lot I would have to say about it, partly because it's been a while since I did play it. I played it a couple months ago now. But it was fun enough that I even went and did the DLC trophies, which to me means it's a good game. I wasn't just quitting on it after I finished it. And yeah, I would give it a solid 7 for enjoyment rating and a 3 for difficulty if you turn on infinite reprisals when you feel that you need it. If not, maybe it's a 3.5 or a 4. Alright, on to the next letter, which is going to be a fun one. And here we are, the last game for today's video. What could it be? Some of you may have been trying to think and guess it throughout the video, but unless you know me in person, or you've been stalking my trophy list, you probably don't know. The last one today is going to be... Now this was a hell of a game. I totally missed it at launch. I was playing Horizon Forbidden West, which I do not regret. I still adored that game, but it was not on my radar. I've never played a Soulsborne game before, so this was my first time, and believe me, it was not something I regret. I loved it. This game can be absolutely brutally painfully difficult, but I'm the kind of person who loves to overlevel, and the fact that this is an open world game gives me that ability to run off, overlevel myself, and then go back and disintegrate bosses, which is oh so satisfying. Now, as you can see from some of the clips that are playing here, I had a friend help me out. Personally, I love to play games co-op when I can. The friend of mine who was helping me out had beat the game 3 times at this point, and I did have to blackmail him to force him to help me play to the platinum, but that's besides the point. It made it so much more fun. Strategizing to kill a boss, comboing off each other, overall, it just made it far more enjoyable. At the very start, he did help me a lot. It was pretty much him just carrying me. When we got near the end, I did actually feel like I could help. Still not as much, and I probably would have taken twice as long to finish this Plat if it weren't for him. But, again, if it's going to be built into the game, I'm going to take advantage, and I'm going to enjoy it by playing with a friend. Now, I'm sure many of you have already heard tons of people on the internet sing this game's praises, especially when it was fighting out to win for Game of the Year. But, again, I hadn't played it. This was my first time doing it after it had already been nominated, and I can understand why. This game was just such a breath of fresh air. Having started this challenge off with one of those Ubisoft open world games that is so tiring and overdone now, this was such an incredible open world experience. It just makes you want to keep playing. This was the first game in a long time where I just wanted to stay up and play. Didn't matter if I had to go to work the next day, I just wanted to stay up and keep playing Elden Ring. But I did actually have to go to work and I did have to do stuff, so this one did take me a while. It took me about a month of playing, around 50 hours of actual gameplay, but it was well worth it. Trophy-wise, this game is a big one. It is beating all the main story bosses and a ton of these side bosses, as well as collecting all the legendary weapons and talismans and all that kind of stuff, and then doing 3 different endings. Now, I am personally not a fan of trophy lists that rely on multiple playthroughs. I feel that a platinum trophy should be just beat the game once to its absolute fullest, do all the collectibles, there's your plat. But thankfully, this game had a little workaround. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. You can save spoof at the very end and get all 3 endings in one go. Was that cheating? Kinda. But it's a feature, not a bug. I decided to do it this way, not because I'm not going to play this game again, but because I didn't want to play it right after. I have continued to play it since. It is still fun to do, but I didn't really want to do 3 full playthroughs just to get the plat. In terms of specific boss fights, many of you may, who have played it, know who Melania is. That is a pain in the ass boss. It took me and my friend Snoogliffer here a good 3 separate days of trying, around about hour and a half per attempt. On the 3rd day, I switched things up a little bit. I equipped Randy's Dark Moon along with Common Azure, and then he equipped the same thing and the Blasphemous Blade to get us some health back. I sort of stayed back, just spamming Randy's Dark Moon, and when we finally did kill her, after about 50 minutes of trying, the last fight took us only 2 minutes. So when you could counter her well, and when you did get lucky, it was a fast boss fight. But it took us a long time to get to that point where we got lucky enough to beat her.
Let's go! Fucking muffin cap hack blew you next. Oh, you stupid bitch! I don't give a fuck. You dead now. Oh,
Yes! Let's go!
One step closer to cleansing my name and killing the gods of Olympus. Holy fuck!
Oh yeah! Sweetie, you think that's gonna do it?
Honestly, there's so much more I could say about this game. I could make an entire video. I really, really loved it. But it's been done to death. People have talked about it for months prior to me even starting the game, let alone actually talking about it here in the video. But it is amazing. I would give it at least an 8 for enjoyment. Now, that does come down to the fact that I did play it with a friend. I think that made it a lot more fun for me. People who don't like getting their ass beat or aren't masochistic probably don't want to play it alone. The final boss of this game is probably one of the most fun boss fights just for atmosphere. The song playing in the background, like the music was amazing. It's so quiet, it's so slow moving, but like just beautiful movements. The final boss fight is so satisfying. I loved it. It just perfectly rounded out the game. Again, I did have help doing it. I did play with a friend, but it just felt right to play not only the first boss, but the last boss with him as well. In terms of difficulty rating, I would give this a 6 with a friend and cheesing the 3 playthroughs trophies. If you're not going to do have a friend and you're going to do 3 full playthroughs, I would probably put it at an 8, 7.5, somewhere in there. Now, of course, I didn't do it that way, so I can't guarantee what the difficulty will be like, but I would have, if I had to guess, I'd put it around a 7.5 or an 8. And there we have it. That finishes A through to E. Next video, we will be doing F to I. Tune in then to find out exactly what the we're doing with F.